Contender Series 2025, week number 6. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. And also note I'll be live for the entire card, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight companion. And let's get into the first fight of the night. We got Cody Chovancek versus Rafael Uchegbu. I'm picking the side of Chovancek. I think that he should be a tricky matchup for Uchegbu. When I look at the style of Chovancek, I see a guy who's comfortable out of both stances with a good MMA-based Muay Thai striking style, who's pretty slick on the feet, not overly slick like a crazy maestro technician, but good movement and fluidity with punching and kicks in combination. On top of that, he has some power in his hands. He does have powerful overhand shots, has big hooks on the inside, and seems to be a fairly good athlete on top of it, delivering with quick shots that have thud on them, bit of a fast twitch ability. I say he seems to be pretty patient. He's gone 5 rounds before. And an element of his game that I think could be useful in this matchup here against Uchegbu for him is his top pressure. Takedowns seem pretty good. Control on top seems cinder block-like. And I think that he's a bit grittier than Uchegbu on the opposite end. Now, Uchegbu, very wide stance kickboxing style. You could make slight comparisons to kind of a Jai Herbert in his game. Long limbs, heavy low kicks. I'd say a very good kicker. A better kicker than he is puncher. Attacks the legs well, attacks the body well, and then goes up high pretty well too. As far as his hands go, it's not that he doesn't have any pop. He has some speed on his punches and seems to be a decent enough boxer, but I will say there's elements of his game that I don't like. Seems to be a little bit on the stiffer side, lacking head movement. Seems to be a little bit upright as he throws punches with the chin coming directly upward. And the element of him being a little bit taller with the longer reach, punching downward towards Chovancek or Chovancek as I botch his name. It seems that overhand shots or, hooks could be X factors in the striking department for the side of Chovancek on the feet. I think that we see Uchegbu hittable with wide punches. As he throws his straights, I think wider shots over the top could end up landing on his chin, and I could see him getting hurt. Very physical and imposing because he is pretty athletic and he is pretty long, but he can be taken down. He can be controlled a bit. I'd rate Chovancek as the better wrestler grappler of the two. I'd rate Uchegbu as the better distance kickboxer of the two, but I would say that the element of punching power for Chovancek and close range punch combinations favors his side enough so that I will pick towards the Chovancek underdog pick. And I think he can pull this one out. Now, as far as does he knock Uchegbu out, he could hurt him. He definitely could be patient and win a hard-fought decision. But seeing that it's Contender Series, I am anticipating a pretty fast-paced fight. I think that Chovancek's X factor of knockout power could catch an over-aggressive Rafael Uchegbu. So the pick for me, Chovancek to win. Let's actually scroll up so we can check these guys out on the scales. We got Chovancek looking pretty in shape. Everybody on point at the weigh-ins. Seems to have a bit of a cold-hearted aura to him a bit. Canadian fighter. And listen, John Paul did well for Canada. The Canadians are on a roll right now. They're doing a little bit better. There's Uchegbu on the opposite side. Looks in shape. Gives me Jai Herbert vibes a bit. Just a tad bit. Got a little bit of that, crimson chin look to him. And then there's the face-off. Now, the element of this fight, which was the height advantage, seems negated, which could defile the argument of, punching downward for Uchegbu as opposed to, if he's punching up, we're less susceptible to overhands. But still, nonetheless, with him going more upright as he throws punches, I still think the man with the better wide shots is Chovancek, and I think those shots could be quite effective. I believe that Chovancek is live to hurt him. I think he can win key grappling exchanges, and I think he can go out and win the fight. Now, as far as the betting side, Chovancek is a plus 140 underdog here, and I'm going to believe in the dog. Uchegbu, minus 160, the favorite. Looking towards the side, let's see, is it an over 2.5, minus 170? I get wary of overs in certain elements. Over 1.5 is a different conversation. Last week with Vidal, the over 1.5 was beautiful, but over 2.5 in a fight with a contract on the line. If both guys show up with the kill mentality, we could have a pretty fast-paced fight where there could be a finish. I would lean towards Chovancek getting a TKO, maybe a big shot over the top, dropping Uchegbu and stopping him. But if you look, Uchegbu never been finished as a professional, also has 5 wins by submission, opposite 4 by KO. On the opposite side, Chovancek has 3 knockouts, 2 subs, with 3 decisions. Never lost as a professional fighter, has lost as an amateur, has fought in amateur kickboxing as well. Both guys are capable prospects, but I think X factor of punch power favors Chovancek, as well as a better top control game, which should secure him the win. I'm going to favor the side of Chovancek by decision, though I think he could hurt Uchegbu at moments. Even if he's unable to drop him or do substantial damage, I think that will stifle a bit of Uchegbu's inside fighting game. Though he is a taller fighter, he does like using his tie clinch and rips nice knees and elbows from there. But if he's caught coming inside, getting a little reckless, definitely could change the game. And I could see Chovancek having moments of pressuring Uchegbu backwards and then having some success. So Chovancek, going to be the pick to start the night off. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have Hwang versus Paddy McCorry. This fight had me sitting for a little while, but my first instinct was Hwang to get it done. I'm going to stick with that pick, though Paddy McCorry has positive elements in this matchup, intangibles being he's the taller fighter at 6'3". He's an Ultimate Fighter veteran. He lost to Robert Valentin on the show, but he did make it to the second round. And he does seem to have knockout power in his hands, pretty quick on his left hook, pretty good kickboxing skills, nice low kicks, good movement, pretty fast on the feet with a natural athleticism. In some senses, there's a very slight remnants to Joe Pyfer. Now, it could be because they look very similar, but even in the way that they throw shots, I'd say that McCorry is more on the speed side. Pyfer has more of the heavy hands. But I don't know. I see glimpses of such. But looking at Paddy McCorry and thinking, okay, he was on The Ultimate Fighter. He lost to Robert Valentin. Robert Valentin turned out to be pretty mid inside of the UFC. And then you look towards his recent fights since then, a 6-7 Ty Palmer, who he hurt with 1 punch and it was over. Then on the opposite side, he beat Shuki Faraj, an Israeli fighter, by a decision, though he hurt him a couple of times, didn't get him out of there. I wasn't overly impressed by the game. And now he takes this fight, replacing Will Curry, who was supposed to fight Hwang. He takes it on a week's notice. Coming in from the other side of the world to come stateside and fight on incredibly short notice like this. Hwang has had a lot of time to prepare. He has had, I believe, about 3 months, maybe even 4 months of knowing that this date was coming. He fought on Korean Zombies promotion, got a win here. Though it says split decision, I disagree with that. He had that man hurt on multiple occasions. I think that was a mismark. Most recently, 5 months ago, he got a pretty clean decision here. Again, it was against a guy that was unimpressed. I get it. With the Juan Lim fight, I have my conspiracies. It's like Hwang didn't really go for it at all. He kind of just toyed him up for a win. And his opponent had a wrap completely around his shoulder. I don't know if they have some type of mutual agreement that they weren't going to go overly hard and they were going to kickbox spar for 3 rounds. And then Hwang won a clear decision. Very interesting to look at that fight and see. He didn't really look to push for the knockout pace, whereas in other matchups, he's coming forward throwing bombs. He kind of sat off the back foot, mixed up punches, threw low kicks, stayed moving, didn't really get hit. He pitched the shutout. It was a complete mismatch, but he didn't even go for the stoppage. So I don't know. I'm just making, conspiracies, but I wouldn't be shocked if there was some agreement between the two because both of them had the microphone after, it seemed to be that even the opponent was well liked by the promotion. I don't know, man. Hwang, he's a knockout puncher. Though he's got 2 straight decision wins, you look at other aspects of his fighting career, this guy is known for bringing violence, right? He's got 5 first-round knockouts, 1 in the second round, then 2 decisions. The man's powerful. Won a kickboxing fight here back in 2023. Now, he did have a bit of a layoff. From 2021 to 2024, he did not fight MMA. From 2019 to 2021, he didn't fight at all. Okay? So, the pandemic got him with a bit of a layoff and then some delays on his career. But he is part of, the Korean zombie hype train from Korea. There's guys from there that are making waves. And I think him having fought in the promotion, there's definitely some hype on him coming into this spot. Now, enough about the hype. Actually, what he brings to the table. I like his stand-up game. He has a tricky kickboxing style, pretty flow state kickboxing, but can be aggressive and does have power in his hands. He's actually got a fairly dangerous head kick game, throws a lot of high kicks, tends to hit the guard pretty well. Even if he's not going to knock you out, he could hurt you with such. Looking pretty smooth on the feet and aggressive. He's definitely a fun style to watch and has decent read on punches coming, seems to have good timing on his strikes. Very hands low, confident stand-up game. Brings the arms out a bit at times, and other moments does seem to like overextend himself a bit, but seems to have a good ability to block punches with his hands, good ability to like fight with the arms and evade shots, not a traditional parry, more of like a traditional martial arts blocking game. I think that Hwang could land some big punches. McCorry is fighting a guy that's pretty capable in kickboxing. And though McCorry looks like a good athletic striker, I don't know how well his technicality matches up with Insu Hwang's. Now, what I do know is he's going to be the bigger man. He's taller. We'll see the face-offs in just a moment. And he does have, the veteran savviness of the Ultimate Fighter, which I think that experience at the apex is a positive note towards him. But Hwang, full camp, was training at Extreme Couture for a bit, getting rounds in with Sean Strickland. I think he can box pretty well at a good pace. I think he can pick his shots pretty well. I think Insu Hwang should go out and get a win. I like the idea of seeing him get a violent knockout against a McCorry coming in on short notice. I think you could catch him with something big. And though it's been decisions as of late, that doesn't mean KO isn't possible. Hwang's a good kickboxer. And I think he's the better striker of the two and the more accurate striker of the two. I'm going to pick him to get it done. Now, as far as the scales, McCorry, who came in on very short notice, did make weight and looked pretty good on the scales there. And then on the opposite side, there's Hwang looking shredded up, ready to rock and roll. And there's the face-off. You see, McCorry, good amount taller. But I don't know. I think that Hwang's going to be all right. I feel he's going to land good punches. I think he'll push a solid pace. I think he'll make McCorry uncomfortable in striking exchanges. I think he'll back him up. I think he'll catch him, and I think he'll make him pay as he looks to throw hard. And I don't think McCorry's grappling up Hwang. I think that Hwang has that breakout performance. It's easy to judge him solely based upon 2 straight decision wins. But when you really think about it, okay, 9 months and 5 months. The dude had a long MMA layoff, nearly a 3-year MMA layoff. Now he's fought twice within the year. This is going to be his third. I think the timing's coming back to him. I think he's going to look better. I think he'll be more confident in this spot here to let the hands fly. Knows it's a big opportunity. Listen, he's a Korean star on the rise. That market's growing. And I think he goes out and wins. I'm going with Hwang to get it done. As far as the odds, he's a 2-1 underdog. It's interesting for me to witness him being such an underdog against an opponent who is coming into this fight on 1 week's notice and was not preparing for another matchup. It's not like he had another fight set. It's not like he was ready to rock and roll for, a different week of Contender Series or even scheduled for a Cage Warriors matchup. He wasn't scheduled for anything. So he's essentially coming off the off the couch. I was curious to see if the Will Curry odds were there. He was coming off the couch for this fight. I'm going to go with the guy that's had a full camp and has had months to prepare for this opportunity. Over a round and a half, minus 145, probable. Though I think Hwang is live for the KO here. Over 1.5 is definitely a possibility. I could see patience and a feeling out process. Hwang live to win by a later stage stoppage or even a technical decision. I'm curious to see if Hwang does look to put his foot on the gas a little bit more and get the stoppage because it's a Contender Series fight, and I'm sure he knows. If you're not impressive, don't matter if you win, you're not going to get a contract. I'm going to go with Hwang. I think a KO is possible. Could be a later stage KO. I think he starts getting the KOs back on track. He's a KO puncher. He's dangerous. And I think Paddy McCorry gets chinned here. I'm going to go with Hwang to get it done over the short notice replacement. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. We have our featured fight of the night. It's Tommy Gantt versus Adam Livingston. I'm going to pick the 32-year-old wrestler, Tommy Gantt. But I definitely see a possibility of no contract to the UFC. He trains with Daniel Cormier. He's part of the Big Four. Cormier had Cezinado, who lost recently on the Ultimate Fighter finale. He had Chapolin on, 2 weeks ago on Contender Series, who didn't get a contract. He's got Imanol as well coming up. But Tommy Gantt is also a part of that crew training with Daniel Cormier. He is a high-level wrestler. He was like one spot away from being a All-American wrestler. So like he's not an All-American or wrestler on paper, but like the guy is a high caliber wrestler. He's got a lot of wrestling experience. Guy's, I believe, a 4-year college wrestler. Seems to be a pretty good athlete. Definitely strong in the takedown game, very strong in the ground and pound game, very aware in the submission game. Very good control from top position. You can tell he's training with Daniel Cormier. On the opposite side, Adam Livingston. He's pretty good. His striking is aggressive, and he does seem to have some power. Rip shots to the body pretty well. I'd say he's a decently precise kickboxer, but I worry that he is simply outmatched in a substantial way in grappling. I really think Gantt is going to be substantially better at takedowns, and I think he's going to be hard to shake off. Though Livingston does some jiu-jitsu, and I'm sure, he's capable in grappling, I don't think I rate the takedown defense nor the get-up game high enough. He was taken down in this fight against Jake Hicksenbaugh, and then ultimately he broke the dude and stopped him, but Hicksenbaugh was looking to push a pace on him, and he did have Livingston backing up, and that guy is nowhere near the caliber, right? Tommy Gantt seems to be pretty good. Another element of Tommy Gantt you guys have to understand is he got into MMA late, okay? He made his amateur MMA debut in May of 2023. He was 30 years old making his debut as an amateur in MMA. He went on to fight not once, but twice in 2023. And then he fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. He fought 12 times, including amateurs, in 2024. 12 fights, going undefeated across the board. Okay? 12 fights in 1 year is crazy. 12 fights is insane. This guy was like, okay, I'm going to make this my thing. And he was fighting every month, even twice a month. He fought twice in a week here. That tells me this fucking guy wants it bad. Since 2023, he has had 15 fights, if you include his amateur run. Turned pro in April of 2024. He is now 10-0 in September of 2025. That is insane level of activity. This guy fights all the time. He's fought twice already in 2025. Now, he's been preparing his skills for this spot here. He's been getting ready for this big chance. I think that he's going to look strong in the wrestling, and I think he's going to dominate in that area. But is that enough to secure a contract? That is the biggest worry. If he is unable to get a finish, though he has finishes, okay? As a professional, he's only got one decision win. This is the biggest test of his career. He's the best fighter he's ever fought. This kid wants it bad. He's 24 years old. Gantt's live to get a submission or a ground and pound stoppage, but it could end up being a bit of a wrestle fucking, which will not award him a contract. He's 32. 32 and fighting all the time, like in a 2-year span to do something like this is crazy. So I have nothing but respect for this guy getting into MMA late and doing a shitload of fights. That is how you do it late. You have to fight all the time. You have to get in it. And his wrestling background already has him used to competing at a high caliber. Looking towards the scales, let's see what we're looking at. Let's check the guys out. There is Livingston on the scale. Looks in shape. Looks pretty good. Got the crucifix on his chest, but nothing blew me out of the water. So, whoa. Tommy Gantt, good shape. Hard-nosed wrestler. And then there's the face-off, about the same height. A little bit taller for Livingston. They said 6'2" to 6 foot. Looks about 6'1" to 6 foot, if anything. Who knows if the height stats are even real half the time. But I think that Gantt is going to get Livingston on his back. And I think Gantt is going to garner some serious control time, some ground and pound. He throws ferocious ground and pound. And I think he's in great physical condition. I feel like he could outwork Livingston. I don't know enough of Livingston's game here in wrestling. I know Gantt's going to be high level. Training with Daniel Cormier, I'm going to have faith that that's enough. At minus 145, Gantt, the favorite, Livingston, plus 125. An over 1.5. No, it's an over 2.5 at plus 120. It's probable to go over 2.5, but Gantt decision, preferably though he gets a stoppage. Now, one more aspect I want to say. We have seen one fight in 2025 for this high Livingston. He turned professional in 2022. He made his amateur debut in 2020. Isn't that kind of crazy? Amateur debut in 2020. Went on to have, what, 8 amateur fights? And now he's had, I believe, 6 pro fights. That's kind of crazy that there's more fights on the other side of the guy that just turned fighter. I mean, he's been fighting for years. That's kind of crazy to me, man. In the span, we've seen double the fights for the side of Tommy Gantt. It's an interesting thing to know. Not a substantial factor, not like I'm saying it's a crazy worry that's definitely going to cost them, but it's an element to this fight that's very interesting. Tommy Gantt fights all the time. And I'll take that as a net positive. I'm going to pick Tommy Gantt, the slight favorite, to get a win here. I think he can outwork Adam Livingston. Either a decision win or potentially a ground and pound stoppage, but maybe even a submission, to be fair. Tommy Gantt can do it all on the ground. And I think he's going to be clearly better than Livingston in that area. And I think control is the key element that wins this fight. Ultimately, stoppage, we shall see. Gantt for the victory, though. Next fight on the card, we have our co-main event of the evening. We have Iwo Baraniewski versus Mahamed Aly. I'm going to go with Mahamed Aly to win against Baraniewski in this fight right here. He's kind of a Brazilian savage. I mean, this guy is a world champion at the black belt level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but when you watch his MMA fights, you see a guy who loves to strike. Powerful puncher, heavy kicking skills, explosive physical specimen. You guys will see as we pull up the scales, this guy's built like RoboCop. Seems to have the God-given gift of power, seems to have very good dexterity. He's got high kick knockouts as a pro. Now, of course, his opposition prior to his most recent fight has been, shit cans for the most part. But he beat Jared Gooden in his most recent fight. Now, though Jared Gooden is a former UFC welterweight, he had missed weight at welterweight, and he did retire after this fight. The fight took place in the light heavyweight division. You can say, oh, well, he didn't knock out Jared Gooden. I view it as a positive. He went rounds with a longtime UFC veteran, or maybe not a longtime veteran, but a longtime MMA veteran and a UFC veteran of 2 UFC runs. His striking's pretty sound. He's got power. He dropped Gooden in that fight. His jiu-jitsu is incredibly high level. Physically, he's a specimen. On the opposite side, Baraniewski, he's somebody to keep an eye on as far as prospects at 26, but I don't know. He's got a shitload of amateur experience. If you look at his amateur run, this guy had over 20, what about actually 20 exactly amateur fights. Professional run, he's undefeated. Hasn't really fought anybody of note, to be fair. But, outside of Jared Gooden, neither has Aly. Baraniewski, I'm botching his name. I'm sorry, man. Baraniewski. It's hard for me to say these Polish names. I like his game. He's got a judo background. He's got really good ground and pound. Heavy from top position. Ferocious finisher. I mean, if you look at a lot of his fights, it's ground and pound. A lot of his amateur, a lot of his pro. But what happens when he takes on a guy that he's not really going to be able to get to the ground? I can't see him just bullying Mahamed Aly to the floor. And I think the power in the hands favors the side of Aly. Though, Baraniewski, he does have a good right hand. Nice straight right. Good forward pressure style. He's a young 26-year-old light heavyweight with 5 pro fights versus a jiu-jitsu champion who likes knockouts. I'm going to favor the jiu-jitsu champion who likes knockouts, though he could end up getting caught with a big straight and maybe he gets completely exposed. But he seems to be a problem. He seems to have something here. And Baraniewski is just 26. And he's coming off a fight against a 2-0-1 opponent. The opposite side, we got Jared Gooden. I'm going to favor Mahamed Aly to win. I've heard of him for a while. I knew about the Jared Gooden fight. Seeing him in this big spot is interesting. I think he could keep this fight standing and crack Baraniewski on the feet. I think he could end up winning a striking match. I could see Baraniewski getting busted up in this fight. If Baraniewski is unable to bully his opposition, that's where I think he runs into trouble. His style is very bully first. And if he's unable to bully you, I could see him getting stopped on the feet by Aly. Now, as far as the scales, let's check them out. Let's see. Baraniewski in very good shape. Pretty fucking big arms. Dude's jacked. Built like he's on some steroids, to be honest with you. The opposite side, Aly, he's got the fucking torn biceps. Grizzled Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu veteran. Looks like got pieces of his ears missing and shit. It's not even the cauliflower. He's just got pieces ripped off from all the years on the mat. And then there's the face-off between the two. Aly a little bit taller. I think he's going to be the more powerful striker. Kind of seems to have the God-given gift of punching power, kind of like that RoboCop pop in his hands. Baraniewski is a prospect of Poland, training with Marcin Tybura and his team. I'm going to go with the Brazilian. I'm going to go with the potential powerhouse. I'm going to go with the former Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion that isn't pulling guard in MMA fights, that isn't just trying to play bottom game, that's striking. His championship pedigree in Jiu-Jitsu with a willingness to strike makes him a very formidable foe. And Baraniewski, a guy who likes to take people down and bully him, if he's unable to do that here and he's stuck in a striking match, I can see him getting knocked out. I'm going to go Mahamed Aly. Minus 220 for Aly, Baraniewski plus 185. I think Aly's power could be a big difference maker. The under 1.5 is minus 150. I could see it going over, though Aly hits really hard. If Baraniewski is stuck striking, I think he wilts to power shots. One of his amateur fights, he actually destroyed the guy in the first round. You can find this on YouTube. Then he was in full guard top position getting punched. The referee stops it and like he lays on his back like he was knocked out from a guy on bottom. Very weird. I'm going to say that Aly's power is the difference maker. I'm going to go with Mahamed. I'm going to go with explosive punching. I'm going to go with danger on the feet. And I'm going to go with the Brazilian Savage. At 31 years of age, this is young for light heavyweight. Only 4 professional fights, true. But only 5 on the other side. And you can say, oh, but all the amateur experience. Yeah, but all the jiu-jitsu experience. I think Mahamed Aly's got the God-given gift of power. You can't teach that. With his high-caliber jiu-jitsu, I think he wins. Aly for the victory. And I think KO is actually possible here. Next fight, main event of the evening. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. It's Hecher Sosa versus Mackson Lee. This is one of the craziest bantamweight fights on the Contender Series ever. Mackson Lee is 6 feet 1 inches tall. Okay? Do you understand that? At bantamweight, he's 6'1". And then Hecher Sosa on the other side is the WOW champion from Spain, Ilia Toporia's organization he's representing. The pick here is not easy to make. I will tell you, Hecher Sosa, I saw on his Instagram, father died Sunday as he was cutting weight for this fight, but he is still going forth to fight, which is honestly incredible. Wouldn't have blamed him for pulling out of this spot. But I believe that he has an undeterred faith within himself and more professional experience. I'm going to go with Hecher Sosa, though I think Mackson Lee seems to be one of a kind, being 6'1" at 135 pounds. He is taller than former UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier. I just don't know about his technicality in all areas yet. I want to speak on the positives of Hecher Sosa. I'm talking about pristine stand-up, clean on the feet. Ilia Topuria-like the way he strings punch combinations together. Nasty low kicks, patient pressuring style, fluid as they come. Strong with his power, very good timing on his shots, real knockout ability. An aggressive fighter, but not an over-aggressive punch smothering style. A patient, aggressive approach. Looking to land the death punch, but not overextending himself to find that death punch opportunity. On the opposite side, we have Mackson Lee, who is truly a special fighter. To be able to weigh 135 at 6'1" doesn't really make sense, right? He is skinny as they come, okay? The dude is literally built like this. Minute Bowl in basketball, this is the MMA version of such. He does have a very quick kicking game. Dangerous with his spin kicks. Dangerous even with his hands. Got a big uppercut in a recent fight. I believe it was this fight here. Yes, dropped his opponent with an uppercut before getting the darce. Now, of course, someone with a 75-inch reach at 135 pounds would be nasty with all of their chokes. Front chokes, right? Darce, anaconda, gilly, okay? Even Peruvian necktie we could see from this guy. Rear naked chokes. His long legs would make him a capable foe to even throw up a triangle. If there's somebody that could play bottom game jiu-jitsu, it's a 6'1" bantamweight. But the element of him that is lacking is physicality. I think Hecher Sosa could outmuscle him in the clinch. I think he could take him down. I think he could win from top position. Though Mackson Lee has this freakish frame, there's another aspect of being overly long, right? It limits your explosive power. Sosa is going to be the stronger fighter between the two. When I look at the striking, Mackson Lee has explosive attack. He has underrated speed. I mean, the guy's pretty quick for a guy at 6'1". Seems to be very smooth with the way he rips punches together. But defensively, I would say he's not as sound as Hecher Sosa. Punch combinations, not as fluid as Hecher Sosa. Hecher Sosa also good at digging shots to the body. I think that could be a factor here. Close range punches, that could be a factor here. Hecher Sosa seems to have the goods to fight in the UFC right now. Not that Mackson Lee doesn't. I think he eventually does get to the UFC, but Hecher Sosa looks like a sound prospect. I'm going to say Spain has a winner. I'm going to say Hecher Sosa can end up getting a victory. Now, of course, coming into this fight with a very heavy heart, we have seen elements of this before. Jake Shields fighting after losing his father shortly before. Ended up getting knocked out quickly by Jake Ellenberger. Anthony Smith losing a close friend, stepping into the cage to fight, I believe, Dominic Reyes, knocked out. Now, he probably would have lost that fight anyways, but I get it. It's just the Spanish culture, that Spain man. I don't know. I read his Instagram post. It's like he's really channeling this as a positive. Very spiritual guy. Believes his father's going to be in the octagon with him. I think Hecher Sosa can go out and win this fight with a heavy heart. And this would be a hell of a story. Though Mackson Lee seems to be a one-of-a-kind freak, I think Hecher Sosa is ready right now. And I think the taller guy, Mackson Lee, the durability has not been tested, and it can be. When you look at recent opponents, yes, okay, 8-2, decent fighter, yes. Suarez, 7-1, now 9-2, decent fighter, yes. Before that, though, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. Hecher Sosa, win over a 3-0 fighter, destroyed him. 10-4 fighter, destroyed him, okay? 6-6 fighter, destroyed him. 14-3 fighter, destroyed him. 8-6 fighter again, submitted. He's fought more notable opposition consistently, has more professional experience, and is going to be nearly 4 years older, like 3-ish years older. I'm going to go Hecher Sosa to beat Mackson Lee. I believe that he can pull this one off, no matter where the fight takes place, actually. Mackson Lee, skinny as fuck, shredded to the gills. That's how he makes 135. Hecher Sosa on the other side looks decent. Looks like a soccer player. To be honest, he looks like a soccer player. Then there's the face-off. You have to watch Hecher Sosa in the fight. But you see, look how skinny Lee is. That skinny neck. Oh, Sosa hits hard. And if Sosa clubs him with a clean connect to the chin, I can see Sosa flatlining. I think Lee's going to get knocked out. I think Sosa could rip him with some power shots to the body and hurt him. As long as he can get into that punching range for himself and not just for Lee on the opposite side, I think he can have great success. And Lee does get a little wild with the crazy attacks. He doesn't have that same level of experience. That inexperience can give you a sense of invincibility. Hecher Sosa has one loss. He was caught getting reckless early. I think that we're going to see Hecher Sosa go out and get a UFC contract and a stoppage win at that. I'm going to pick Hecher Sosa to pull through. He's sitting at underdog status, which makes sense because of the stature. But when you watch Hecher Sosa, tell me, if you haven't seen it yet, you should go watch him after this video. Tell me you don't see somebody that could actually be a legit bantamweight inside the UFC. Not that Mackson Lee won't be, but he's 26 and he's a raw talent. I'm going with Hecher Sosa. I don't believe being 6'1" at bantamweight, though it's an advantage. I don't know if that's the best thing to be that tall. It's like almost like you're too tall and long for your own good. Where is the strength? How can you be that strong at that height at 135? I don't think you can be. Mackson Lee, minus 173. Odds for the over, minus 155. I don't know. I like Hecher Sosa at plus 148 as the underdog here. I think that he can get a win violently. I think that he's a problem. I think Mackson Lee will have his time and he will be back on Contender Series again and he'll be one to watch. But I think right now, Hecher Sosa is the man to win. And I'm picking him in the main event of this week's Contender Series card. Now, those are the predictions for week number 6, but we're not done yet. I do want to talk parlays. Now, of course, Contender Series parlays on a week like this. My God. My God. I have 1, 2, 3 underdogs with 2 favorites. Is there anything calling my name that I see? Let's see. What's the over in the Uchegbu Chovancek fight? or Chovancek. I'm botching his name. Over 2.5. I don't really like it. Let's see. I want to look at all the overs and see what we're looking at. Over 1.5. Under 1.5. Over 2.5. Over 1.5. McCorry and Hwang. This week is tricky for me with these overs. If you believe in the side of Mahamed Aly's physicality, do you put him with a favorite play at plus 148, or do we just go dog savage mode? Or do we go dog savage mode? You go Hecher Sosa in the main event. You go Hwang plus 553 and plus 1506. Dude, I don't really even like parlays this week. I like the Moneyline underdog side. I like the Moneyline underdog sides. We got 3 of them. I think Aly should win, but he's in for a test, right? He's only got 4 pro fights. I think Thomas Gantt probably wrestles up Adam Livingston. He could be a piece. Thomas Gantt, Chovancek, or Thomas Gantt and Hecher Sosa plus 300 now. Hwang, Hecher Sosa. I'm trying to think if any over is really calling me. I mean, the under 1.5 in the Sosa Lee fight is live at plus 135. But am I really crazy about saying, yeah, go bet that down? Under 1.5 there. Thomas Gantt plus 293. And it's like it's Contender Series, so I'm not crazy about an over 2.5 in the Gantt fight neither. At plus 120, there could be a finish. I'm predicting this fight to go longer, but again, it could be a finish. Like last week, I felt a clear read on overs. This week, I feel like it's danger zone. This week, I really feel it's Moneyline Central. You got dogs to play. Could go Thomas Gantt, Hecher Sosa, Mahamed Aly plus 495. And then you're like, fuck it, I got to throw Chovancek him in. My God, man. This week for parlays, I was thinking this before the video. I was going to say, maybe a 2-leg that you're feeling. You say, fuck it. It's Contender Series. I'm going to pick violence. And you're like, all right, what's an under that's calling you? What's an under that you're feeling? This is favorite status for the under. Hecher Sosa, Mackson Lee under 1.5 plus 135 is a possibility. But is it crazy? Is it great to bet on? Not really. Under 1.5 with this fight, definitely a possibility. But it could end up going a little longer. Maybe you touch the plus 130, or maybe you look for all plus money lines. Hwang and McCorry could definitely go over 1.5. It's minus 145 for such. Could that be parlayed up with somebody like a Gantt? You'll probably have a line around plus 183 for such a thing. Make it hard for me with parlays, man. I like my underdogs. I like my underdogs a lot. Hecher Sosa, all right? Thomas Gantt, plus 300. Then I'll say we could go with Mahamed Aly, plus 495. Then let's take Aly out just in case. Let's take Gantt out just to get Hecher Sosa with Hwang. Chovancek, plus 1506. Chovancek, plus 490. My God. My God, guys. Contender Series bringing the heat for us this week. I will say this. Money lines catch my eye. Dangerous bets to be made. If you want to just go with the 2 favorites together, it's plus 148. You want to throw the main event, you got plus 495. I think those picks are pretty good. And then if you want to believe in the full card, you got plus 3,882. I will tell you from my research, this is a wild-ass card. But I feel as though the picks are on par. It's just the lines are tricky to say you want to just parlay up underdog or touch the unproven favorites, you know? Bet it accordingly. Do your own due diligence. See where it matches up with mine. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe it up. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this week's Contender Series picks. And make sure you tune into the Fight Companion. W in the comments, you got nothing to say. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. And I'll see you live for the full card. Much love. Peace out.